In 1945, the world stood at the edge of a new dawn, battered, scarred but still standing. After 6 long years of unimaginable destruction, sacrifice, and loss, the guns of World War II finally fell silent. Cities lay in ruins, nations were forever changed, and millions mourned the price of peace. Yet from the ashes, hope stirred, a hope for a world rebuilt, for lessons learned, for a future where such a global nightmare would never return. This is the story of the end of the deadliest conflict in human history and the beginning of what came. The final collapse of Nazi Germany on the Western Front in 1945 resulted from the comprehensive defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, which began in 1939 and concluded in May 1945. This defeat was marked by the capitulation of Nazi Germany to the Allies on May 8, 1945. The war efforts, including the Battle of the Atlantic and the prolonged conflict, significantly contributed to the eventual demise of Nazi control over Western Europe. The Red Army played a decisive role in Germany's defeat on the Eastern Front through several strategic victories and campaigns. The Red Army breached the German front on April 16, 1945, as a result of the Vistula-Oder offensive, rapidly advancing westward at a pace of 30 to 40 kilometers a day. This offensive led to the occupation of key regions such as East Prussia, Lower Silesia, and Upper Silesia, temporarily halting on a line 60 kilometers east of Berlin along the Oder River. The Red Army's victory at Stalingrad in February 1943 marked a significant turning point in the war, encircling and destroying substantial German forces and reversing the tide of the conflict in Europe. Additionally, the Red Army forced Germany into a war of attrition, which proved disastrous for the German military, as it was ill-prepared to withstand the Soviet Union's vast resources and seemingly limitless manpower. The German military's deteriorating morale and demoralization, exacerbated by high casualties and adverse conditions, further contributed to their defeat. The end of Axis resistance in Italy during World War II can be attributed to several key factors. The Axis forces in Italy were decisively defeated in the 15th Army Group's spring offensive, leading to their unconditional surrender on May 2, 1945. This defeat was compounded by the ongoing battles in Northwest Europe, which further weakened their abilities. Italy's participation as an Axis power effectively ended in September 1943, when they surrendered to the Allies. Additionally, the fascist dictatorship of Benito Mussolini, which began in 1922, led to a disastrous alliance with Nazi Germany and Japan, ultimately contributing to Italy's defeat. There was also King Victor Emmanuel's second damaging collaboration with Nazi Germany, which further eroded Italy's position. The German invasion of Yugoslavia had already weakened Italy's military forces, making their collapse more pronounced. Japan's surrender in 1945 was primarily triggered by the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These bombings, particularly the first one in Hiroshima, followed by another in Nagasaki 3 days later, were significant events that led to Japan's capitulation. Additionally, successive military defeats, such as the decimation of the Japanese Navy in the Battle of Leyte Gulf, further weakened Japan's position. The Soviet Union's declaration of war and military offensives against Japan also played a crucial role in the surrender. The Soviet invasion of Manchukuo shortly after the bombings further solidified the multifaceted push that compelled Japan's surrender. What marked the end of the North African campaign in World War II? The North African campaign of World War II came to an end in May 1943. This campaign, which spanned from June 1940 to May 1943, involved the Allies and Axis powers in a series of battles fought in Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia. The conflict was characterized by fluid movements and significant victories and setbacks for both sides, with mechanized forces playing a crucial role. Yugoslavia's partisans significantly contributed to the Axis defeat during World War II, fighting against German and other Axis forces in mountainous terrain, employing guerrilla tactics, and becoming the most effective resistance movement in German-occupied Europe. Led by Josip Broz Tito, a diverse and ideologically driven resistance movement, they played a crucial role in combating Axis forces and collaborators in the Balkans. The partisans' success was a result of Tito's leadership and the support they received from the local population. In the post-war politics, the Yugoslav partisans, having gained power without Soviet assistance, implemented communism without external interference. The Communist Party was heavily influenced by the partisans' efforts during the war, shaping Yugoslavia's post-war political landscape. After Germany's occupation of Greece ended in October 1944, the country descended into civil war between communist forces, primarily the Greek National Liberation Army, ELAS, and elements of the royalist government in exile in London. This conflict, which began immediately following World War II, lasted until 1949 and was marked by significant violence and chaos. The Civil War drew in several thousand British soldiers, who remained in Greece until 1952 to support the anti-communist efforts. The conflict ultimately led to the defeat of the communist forces and the restoration of the constitutional monarchy. Poland's World War II experience profoundly shaped its post-war fate. During the war, Poland suffered tremendous economic losses and brutal occupation by the Nazi and Soviet regimes, resulting in the deaths of more than 5 million Polish citizens, including 3 million Jews. This traumatic experience led to Poland becoming a satellite of the Soviet Union and later a communist country after the war. The country also became an independent republic in 1918 following the collapse of empires. The Soviet Union played a central role in liberating Czechoslovakia in 1945. Their army was instrumental in freeing the greater part of Czechoslovakia from Nazi occupation. The Soviet Union, along with the United States, contributed to the liberation of Czechoslovakia. This liberation was part of the broader effort by the Soviet Union to defeat Nazi Germany.